Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I have a bad hair day. That's why I'm wearing a cap. But also today I want to talk about my league starter for 323, the Affliction League. And it's gonna be, Arc, Ignite, Mana Stacking. Again, yes. And I did play this build last league, but there is a twist, because I also want to play Penance Brand, or at least we're going to see what turns out to be better. So first of all, let's talk about the main thing, which is going to be Arc, basically. And this started out as a meme build last league, but it turned out a lot stronger and better than I expected. And that's why I don't see a reason why I should not revisit this build, especially in the early stages. I started this on League Day 3, I think. My League starter was in 322 was Infernal Blow Ignite Elementalist. This didn't turn out that well, so I decided on day 3 to level up a new character and make Arc Ignite Mana Stacking, and I was like, yeah, it's more of a meme. But it cleared the entire Atlas. It started with a 5 link and then upgraded towards, like, I think like 15 Divines or 20 Divines budget, what I had on day 8 or something of the league. And I just really, really enjoyed the playstyle, the build, because Arc is my favorite skill in the game, Ignite is my favorite damage type, and Mana Stacking is my favorite build archetype, if you call it like that. Mana Stacking has one problem, but also an upside. So there's a pro and cons about Mana Stacking. I think early on, especially, Mana gear tends to be very, very cheap, because if you think about rare items, you know, what do you want to have on that? Like life, resistance, damage, and so on. Nobody really counts in Mana as a base stat and Mana regeneration, for example. And so you sometimes find really strong items where you say like, hey, T1 life, some good resistance, and then like these rings go for like a divine or something, and then all of a sudden you find this ring that has the same stats, but it has T1 mana and T2 mana regen as well for one divine, and you are like, bro, this could be, if mana stacking would be matter, this would be like a 20-30 divine string, but I got it for one divine, for example, right? So these like life, mana, resistant thingies are not really too expensive overall, but the downside is, I think, mana stacking builds do have a scaling limit, I would say. For example, if I would spend 100 divines in a mana stacker, Arc Ignite, for example, compared to another build for 100 divines, then probably mana stacking will fall off. But I'm talking about league start, and since I really enjoyed this league, I said like, why should I not revisit this build when I enjoyed it that much? Because for me, playstyle and enjoyment of playing the build that I'm playing is worth a lot more than actually playing some meta builds or something that is the strongest DPS, the fastest clearing speed, and so on and so forth. On the next hand, what do I want to farm? So I'm a big fan of like Legion farming, of Expedition farming, and now Ultimatum is back. And I think Ignite builds will be kind of superior when it comes to like Ultimatum, because you have Ignite proliferation, right? So that means if you kill and ignite an enemy, they leave this burning ground. And in Ultimatum, it's similar to like Delirium or something, where monsters are spawning afterwards, you know, and they will just spawn into the flame circles and they will just die again, you know? So it's like really good for the survival mode and kill everything, kind of Ultimatum style. And I think I'm gonna go towards like Ultimatum / Legion / Expedition kind of farm. Maybe I can go early on or something like that to make my early currency. So that's another point that goes into favor of Ignite build. Ignite overall very strong, and there are like the new transfigured gems for Arc, and there is one that is like pretty cool. It has like half the base damage of the regular Arc, and Arc doesn't really have a lot of base damage, but it has 50% more damage for each remaining chain. And the regular Arc has like 15, right? So if you do, somebody did the calculation and linked me a spreadsheet, above 7 chains, the new version, the transfigured Arc version, is better than the regular Arc. And I think you get like 7 or 8 by the base gem with the quality, because now the quality gives +1 chain when it's on 20, because there is the missing helm enchant, for example, right? But I already on this version played with chain support, because I like the additional clearing. And with the transfigured gem, I'm gonna get even more single target out of my Arc, which I think is like very, very cool. And now let's talk about, so basically, that's why I said, I think the Mana archetype is not too expensive to get going. It did already clear all the Atlas for me last season, so I had a really good experience with that. The new Transfigured Gems will make it even more powerful, and the Ignite is going to be like very strong for the League mechanics that I plan to farm. So overall, it's like a safe pick for me, and I already know that I'm going to really, really enjoy this build again. So, what about Penance Brand? So, Penance Brand got changed. It now has like, if I pull this one up real quick, let me see, PoE profile. If I go to the main page, yeah, I think I have to go to the patch notes. I think it was somewhere right there. Let me quickly check it up. With Penance Brand. So, Penance Brand got basically, it got insanely simplified, right? You know, usually Penance Brand, you know, needs to stick to an enemy, needs a really long time to get like 20 energy and stuff like that, and then have like an insane explosion, right? So what they did, that the normal base damage was like 177 to 265. Now it has 2,500 to 3.8 thousand. It now has a damage effectiveness of 570% instead of 40%. So all the added damage to this skill will be insanely valuable. And thinking about Archmage and thinking about Arcane Cloak giving you tremendous amount of base damage with mana stacking could be really, really cool. Also, the activation range got changed from 0.5 to 0.1. So basically, but therefore it lost all the other multipliers, like, I don't know, like 30% more damage with per energy stage or whatever. Second. No time for a phone call. So you guys know what I'm going to say. It got simplified, but the new version could be a lot less clunky. So I'm a brand enjoyer. I play Penance Brand very, very often. One of my favorite skills. And I always try to make Penance Brand work. But the problem is it needs ridiculous amounts of cast speed to make it feel somewhat cool. Just for an example. I had a Penance Brand Ignite build, like, I don't know, like last league, 2 leagues ago, 3 leagues ago, something like that. And the POB was insane, like 30 million Ignite DPS, right? And I was like, bro, this is gonna be insane. So what happened, so you put down your brand. It had like, since I had lower cast speed, since I was an Ignite build, I think it took like 3.7, let's say 4 seconds to get maximum explosion stacks. And then you're gonna have this like big hit where you are actually, gonna get this Ignite going, right? So you do 4 seconds of absolutely nothing, because as long as the brand is like energizing, it doesn't deal any damage. And I had the same thing in mapping. I put down my brand, it starts like zapping around, inflicting all the enemies with this like energy, right? And I move through the monsters and I just die. Because there is no damage there. As I need to wait all the time until the shit is exploding, right? So it made the skill be pretty awkward to play and like just clunky, and that's why I didn't want to play it, even though the damage numbers looked insane. Because Penance Brand is a physical spell other than Stone Brand, which is a lightning. So with Penance Brand, you know, physical spells, best way to scale them, Eternity Shroud, multiple conversions, and so on and so forth. But if it plays clunky, what you gonna do? So now with the new version, it has a lot more base damage, a lot more damage effectiveness, like 5 times faster activation to get to the 20 stacks. So I don't think that you need a lot of cast speed to make it feel good. But the thing is, like, I wouldn't change too much. If I open the POB now, right, this is like my Vaal Arc Ignite mana stacking day 8 of the league from last league. I think like 15 or 20 Divines investment or something like that. So this is probably going to be my base thing here, right? And as you see, there is like some lightning thingies here, which is not like the worst thing. It's just a couple points. The rest is just like life, ignite nodes, mana nodes, and so on and so forth, right? If you play Penance Brand, you want to have Runebinder. So the way I would solve this is basically maybe going to, you know, in like 321, I think I did play my Scion Arc on-hit build. I think it was this one, right? And there you see how I solved it that way. So I played here with a Thread of Hope. I get my Agnostic, I get my Arcane Capacitor, and I also get my Runesmith and some other things, right? So I would do the same approach on my Arc Ignite build, basically. So I have to like skip probably Holy Fire or something. I don't know how I'm gonna fix that. But the thing is, if I'm playing Arc, then I just unscale these 2 points and get them into life, for example, right? If I say, hey, I enjoy Penance Brand more, unspec these 2, get Runebinder and Runesmith, and your Penance Brand build now, right? So there is a lot of brand nodes, I'm 100% aware of that, but the thing is, you're still an Ignite build, so all the brand crit nodes, the brand, like multiple brands, you know, you don't need that kind of. As an example, let's say Burning Arrow on hit and Ignite. So for Burning Arrow on hit, I need many arrows that hit a lot of times to kill something. For an Ignite Burning Arrow build, I need 1 single arrow to hit the enemy, inflict the Ignite, Barracks Respite, Ignite Proliferation goes off, boom, the screen is dead, you know? So you're not needing to have like 5 brands or 7 brands active at all times and try to get 2 brands in every single target. I think if it works out the way I hope it will, that it's just like similar to Stonebrand, just with the exploding factor and like a lot more base damage and stuff like that, and scaling version, then maybe Penance Brand might be good. So my plan is basically to keep the same weight. As I say, I'm gonna League Start Elementalist. It's gonna be a mana based build. It's gonna be Ignite. But if I end up using Penance Brand or Arc, that's like the question. But I just gonna like gem swap and just respec some points, test it out. If it feels good, maybe a state Penance Brand. You know, I don't really plan my League starters too far. You know, so in that case, and I do have the POBs from last league where I know what kind of gearing I need. And if you want to check out my older videos about Vaal, Arc, Ignite, mana stacking, you will find all the POBs that I made from like the early version, day 3. I think it was on a 5-link, no jewels, just random gems without even quality, you know. So it's really, really base things. So now you might wonder, yo, MB, what about all the other things? The new Transfigure gems, and what about all of those, right? Why don't you think about playing any of those? The answer is pretty simple. I don't know when I will get those gems, right? I don't know how expensive they're gonna be, when they will be available, so that's a big question mark. The same thing, what about the new Ascendancies? Like, I think that the Primalist, like this, the ascendancy that you can change basically, right, with the charms and everything, will be probably meta for 95% of the builds, right? So, but you don't know when you get the charms that you actually need. How expensive are they gonna be? Like, when can you unlock this ascendancy? Will be high tier maps. Like, all of these factors is something for like a second build of the league, the third build, the fourth build, some end game build. You know, power charge stacking is something I 100% gonna do next season, but on League Start, you just have to put it down to the bare bones. No new, unique, fancy stuff built in, because you just don't know when will it be available and how expensive it's gonna be. If the first charms that you need for like all damage can ignite or whatever is like 20 divines on day 3 of the league, then why would you start some, I don't know, Scion Ignite build if you rely on that single charm to actually play it, you know? So that's why I want to pick it safe. They're like, hey, I had a lot of fun with this Arc Ignite build last season, and I'm just going to do this again, because it plays in the favor of what I want to play, what I want to farm, and then we go from there once we encounter the league mechanic, and see what other things we get, what charms we get, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. But yeah, that's basically it for now. I want to make a small little annotation here. Don't forget, the league is starting like 2 hours earlier this time. It's 8 p.m. my time, so please check the release date for you, because as I said, it's earlier this time, so don't forget about that. And I'll be streaming obviously every single day of the league on both this time, YouTube and Twitch, because I did try out some multi-streaming on like a patch notes video, and it worked out pretty well. So from this league start on, I'm gonna be double streaming, so on YouTube and Twitch, if you wanna yeah, join the party, and let's see how the league start is treating you, treating me, treats everybody, how cool it is, and we're just gonna have an amazing time as always on the streams as well. Good. All the best of luck in the league. May the mirrors be with you, because they are never with me, but maybe this league is the league, we're gonna see. And yeah, see you then tomorrow.